I heard my wife order my murder before the power even came back on. And the worst part? The ghost in that house was never a ghost at all. This happened in the late 90s at an isolated farmhouse outside a small town in Rajasthan. The kind of place where the highway noise fades into nothing and the nights feel heavier than they should. I owned that property, built it a decade earlier as an escape from Jaipur's chaos. Just me, the fields, and silence. The only permanent resident was the caretaker, a man named Mahesh. He'd been there 10 years, loyal, quiet, the type of man who never asked questions. A week before everything fell apart, the electric board sent a notice, scheduled power cuts every night from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. 6 hours of pure darkness. I called Mahesh and told him to buy lanterns, flashlights, emergency lamps. He said he would. That evening, he called me instead. His voice wasn't normal. It sounded like he was whispering from inside a coffin. "Sir, can you come? I don't think I'm alone here." I was in Ahmedabad for work. I told him I'd drive down the next night. He said something before hanging up, something that still crawls under my skin. "It's standing near the cattle shed." When I arrived the following evening, the front gate was open. No music, no light from the porch, just wind dragging dust across the driveway. Inside the house, chairs were overturned, a glass lay shattered near the kitchen entrance, but there were no signs of forced entry, no broken locks. I found Mahesh in the far corner of the stable, curled up beside the feed sacks. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. "Sir, it watches from the window," he whispered. "Last night when the lights went out, I turned on the emergency lamp, and it was there, tall, wrong, no face." There's something about fear that spreads. Even if you don't believe it, it lingers in the air like smoke. I told him he was exhausted, paranoid from being alone too long. I told him to cook dinner. At exactly 9 p.m., the power died. The house inhaled. You don't realize how loud electricity is until it disappears. The fridge stopped humming, the ceiling fan slowed to silence. Then, a door slammed upstairs. Footsteps moved across the corridor above me, slow, deliberate, wood creaking under invisible weight. I grabbed a flashlight and walked toward the staircase. Halfway up, the beam flickered, and for a second I saw a shadow at the end of the hallway. Not moving, just there. I called Mahesh's name. No answer. I ran outside toward the stable. Empty. That's when panic finally hit me. My car keys were still inside, in my bedroom drawer. I went back in. The kitchen smelled metallic, like rust or blood. I felt breath on the back of my neck. I turned and saw a man standing in the darkness. Then everything went black. When I opened my eyes, I was lying on the living room floor. The emergency lamp cast a dim orange glow across the ceiling. My head throbbed. It was 2:50 a.m. Mahesh stood near the doorway, speaking softly on the phone. "He's unconscious, madam. I tried to scare him enough for a heart attack. It didn't work. Should I finish it?" My body went cold before my mind did. Then I heard her voice through the speaker. "Anita, my wife. Just make sure it looks natural. I've already spoken to the lawyer. You'll get your share." At 3 a.m., the power returned. The lights flickered on. Mahesh didn't expect me to be standing behind him with a kitchen knife pressed against his throat. His phone slipped from his hand. I didn't scream. I didn't rage. I just asked him one question. "How long?" He couldn't answer. I picked up the phone, told Anita to come to the farmhouse immediately, told her I wanted to talk face to face. She arrived just before dawn. Her car headlights swept across the fields like nothing had happened. Before opening the door, I leaned close to Mahesh. "I'll double whatever she promised you. When she walks in, do it."
She stepped inside confidently. No fear, no guilt. Mahesh moved before she could speak. The sound of the blade entering flesh is not loud like in movies. It's dull, wet. She collapsed on the tiled floor. Mahesh stared at me, waiting for approval, for gratitude. I looked at him and said something he'll never forget. I sold this property last week. It isn't mine anymore. I came tonight to collect documents and to tell her. His face drained of color. 10 years of loyalty destroyed by a percentage. I left before sunrise. A few days later, the newspapers carried the story. Caretaker murders employer's wife. Rumors of an affair. Financial disputes. Mahesh took his own life in jail. Everyone pitied me. They said I survived something supernatural. They were wrong. There was no headless woman, no shadow in the hallway. Just greed. And greed doesn't need the lights to go out. It's always there, waiting in the dark.